Well, it's not nearly as good as it was when I was just a little kid. Back then the water was beautifully clear, and the fish were in here just unlimited. There's just unlimited amount of fish in there. Because the waters were so much more beautiful, clear then. They're like the water down at Key West. This was beautiful, clear water. You can see bottom and clear see bottom in 6 feet of water.
If you have been watching the channel, you know that Estero Bay has a special place in my heart. I've totaled over 21 videos fishing here on my channel, including my first one ever. What's up guys, welcome to the channel. So today we're going to be fishing, just throwing some artificial back in the backwaters. We've come a long way since then, and as I finished my last video, I sat down thinking about what my next idea was going to be. I started jotting down some plans for a new series. Being located in Naples, Florida, I'm surrounded by some elite fisheries. I thought about how every location has a unique story as well. I figured, why don't I tell a story about each ecosystem, the history and significance of every specific location, fishing while I do. I figured there was no better place to start than Estero Bay. Estero Bay almost looked a lot different than it does today. In 1966, Estero Bay was named the first aquatic preserve in Florida, paving the way for dozens of others. At the time, major development plans were starting to come forth about dredging Estero for housing and communities, but Bill Meller, longtime resident of the Estero area, had other ideas.
And when all this was proposed, we all realized that could be a disaster. So there was arranged, a whole group met and decided that this was going to be a joint effort.
Estero is an estuary, an ecosystem where fresh and saltwater meet, providing a critical habitat for all species of fish when they are younger. It is fed by 5 major creeks and rivers: Hendry Creek, Mulock Creek, Estero River, Spring Creek, and the Imperial River, which make up a 360-mile watershed and drainage basin for the bay. I wanted to see the source of what feeds this ecosystem, so that's where our trip starts, Columns Trail on the Imperial River. Alrighty guys, well we are at the Bonita Trail over here on Columns Trail off the Imperial, and I mean, man guys, this is my second time being here, but it is just so pretty. Wanted to come here and just show you guys kind of what the Imperial River kind of provides for Estero, along with a lot of the other creeks that feed into it, some of the rivers. You don't realize how much goes into it, you know what I mean? But it's just so beautiful. I brought the GoPro, getting some underwater footage for you guys. If you haven't been to this park, I highly recommend it, fishermen or not. It's such a beautiful part of the river that this time of year is pouring water profusely into Estero Bay due to the rain. I noticed the sandy shores with plentiful grass housing minnows, bass, and gar as soon as I got to the river. This water is only about a 5-mile trip to the mouth of Estero Bay and is nearly completely fresh as well, offering the bay with the much-needed supply of water consisting of less salinity. This is the river I chose, but the 4 other main creeks and rivers that feed into Estero act in the same exact way. They're a nutrient-rich water system for the bay, and the creatures within it as well, who use these creeks and rivers for their early life stages. Tarpon can be found abundantly in this exact river, and this coveted game species has been known to rely on estuaries like this to thrive for the longest times possible. As I continued down the well-pathed trails, I started to think about the fishing trips that lied ahead, hoping that it would be as fulfilling as this trip was. I came across a blue heron doing its thing, and when he decided it was time to leave, I followed suit right after, finally leading to the first of 2 trips. Well, we are headed out to Estero Bay. As you guys can probably tell, that's what this whole video is about, is exploring and showing you guys what Estero Bay has to offer. Super excited about this one. We actually got 2 trips going on today. It's about 11 o'clock now, so getting a little bit later. Going out midday, which I don't know if you saw a couple videos ago. Midday, I have zero doubts we're going to catch some fish. I think we're going to get on them. It's also just so nice headed out, not at the butt crack of dawn, you know what I mean? It's nice being able to get out a little bit later. Really just get to sleep in a little bit. You kind of take your time getting out on the boat. There is some give and take with it, you know. The heat, it is 90 degrees already, which the feels like is probably closer to 100, so there's definitely some negatives that have to go along with it. But with that being said, guys, headed out, gonna be fishing on the micro skiff. Got 1 rod, 3,000 sustain, so super light tackle, super simple stuff. I got a DOA shrimp on now. I'll see what the watercolor is looking like. I might switch that up, but gonna be throwing something different today. And I think we're gonna be wade fishing. It is negative 0.2 tide right now. The incoming is just starting to go up, so I think we'll be able to walk around like we did last video, which was awesome, super fun. I love wade fishing. A lot of you guys were saying you love it too. And at the end of the day, guys, we're just gonna show you guys Estero Bay, get on some fish some areas that should be pretty awesome stuff. And with that being said, guys, I'll see you guys when we're at the ramp, when we're on the water, and then when we're at the first spot, and I'll explain to you guys what we're throwing, what we're doing. And with that being said, guys, we're gonna get on some fish, and I'm super excited. Let's go. Alrighty, guys, well, we made it to the first spot. I think the plan for today is we're gonna troll the motor around, maybe wade fish a little bit. But the plan is to start off with this DOA shrimp, root beer color. The water is kind of murky here, so I might switch to a gold DOA, but I'm gonna start off with this, see how it works. I think this is the lighter pattern. I don't know, it's 4-inch, I believe, but anyways, let's figure it out. Let's see what happens. Let's get to it. Estero Bay. Alrighty, guys. Finally fishing. Been a little bit excited to be fishing. Super low tide, but we got a dumping incoming. You guys can see water clarity is pretty bad. I should probably be throwing a gold DOA, something that stands out a little more, but we're gonna whip this around and see what happens. As I worked this line midday, I had no clue what to expect. I've had midday success before, but I was fishing a new area today. I ended up finding a point with some current, and that's when we got our first Estero fish. This current is just pouring out right here. These snook are just piled up in the shade where this current's dumping. They're all little, but could be a big one under there. Yep. Told you there were some little guys in there. Beautiful little snook right there. Little Estero Bay snook. Woo! Beautiful little fish. Let's get him back in. One thing about the DOA that's weird is when it does this, you gotta kind of pull the hook back. Let's get it back through there. Ready to go again. Let's go. The key to many days, but especially midday fishing, is skipping accurately underneath the shade. That's what I did for about 5 minutes, hooking small snook, hoping I would encounter a tank. Oh! Another little snook. Beautiful fish. Guys, we're going into the mangroves, but there we go. Another beautiful snook, super tiny, but wee! The mangroves in Estero are truly a beautiful place, and it's safe to say on this trip we were catching the future of this estuary. These fish were not big by any means, but it is always nice seeing some of this size. And with a chunking trip in my near future, I was hoping that's when we would catch our stud. Guys, today's just been full of these guys. They honestly just keep getting smaller and smaller. Look at that size of that snook. That thing is so tiny, man. Beautiful fish though. Whee! After fishing for another 45 minutes or so with no luck, I decided to get home and drop the skiff off before my next trip. On deck, we had a chunking trip where I'd be meeting 2 of my buddies at the ramp for a shot at some big fish with cut ladyfish. I wanted to show you guys some different fishing options that I've seen success with in the past, specifically in Estero Bay. So I hopped in the car and drove back on Bonita Beach Road to drop the skiff off and head straight back a couple hours later. This next trip, it really shows the diversity you can achieve with different fishing techniques. Earlier in the day, I was in the midday heat tossing gulp after gulp into hidden mangrove lines. Now, we were catching some ladyfish to cut up and soak for some bigger fish. Chunking is a lot easier and has huge upside at times. As we got to the first spot, we cut our chunks in 2 to 3 inch bite-sized pieces and casted them along the line, hoping they got chewed. After that, it's a social waiting game as you anxiously watch the rod tips, waiting for them to get bent while you're sitting there talking with your friends.
Chunking's so weird, man. It literally just like, it's just, I don't know how today will go, but you could do the same exact tide, same exact everything, same exact spots. Some days you get a 35-inch snook and it's just nonstop, and other days it just sucks.
The key to chunking is getting your ladyfish chunk as close to the mangroves as you can. After getting our 4 rods out in different areas, we decided it was time to start the waiting game, and before you know it, Bishop was on with a nice little snook.
It's a little snook, I see him. Bishop gave him the beans with the hook set. He's not messing around.
Bishop sets the hook and goes. Very sick.
Chill.
One more.
Oh, I just got got. Damn, dude.
How does that happen on a head?
Woo!
You could have stuck the size of your forearm on a head.
Someone's slaying, dude.
After Bishop caught that little snook, we kept doing our thing, throwing chunks in the mangroves hoping that a big fish would swim on by and want an easy meal. After 20 minutes of nothing, we had that happen.
Oh,
Was he running with it?
dude, I saw that rod like stay bit down. Oh yeah, he's on. Oh yeah. Oh, what the heck? Came off. Holy shit, this is a big fish.
Looked like a red. It was literally orange.
That's insane. I will say, Billy or Bishop, it's a circle hook. You don't got to set the hook. You just got to reel. Dude, that was so weird.
Yeah. I saw it swim this way after it came off. It was like a big.
Snook will do that too. Snook will come out.
Because the circle hook didn't come out.
Bishop had a big fish on that he thought came off but was actually running at the boat. By the time we realized that, I think he had enough slack and eventually spit the hook. My guess was a decent redfish, but after that, it consisted of throwing cast after cast with fresh baits and no luck. We decided to move areas and got greeted by the evening summertime storm. We then called it quits and I decided to come back one last time, but for different reasons. This last trip, I went to Estero by foot. No fishing rods, no boat, just me and my camera gear. Something that I often overlook is the opportunities these parks and estuaries can offer other people. Every time I come here, there's dozens of anglers fishing off of these bridges, chasing that same feeling that I get on a boat. There's access to numerous kayak drop-ins, wade fishing spots, and a dog beach as well. I thought back to what Bill Meller envisioned when he wanted to save this ecosystem. My guess is he would have been happy with what he sees, an opportunity for everyone to take advantage of this awesome ecosystem. Yes, it's not the same as it was in the 30s, that's a given. Just about every other ecosystem is like that as well. But the preservation and ability to keep this beautiful ecosystem and park open to anglers, hikers, kayakers, paddleboarders, tourists, bird watchers, and so much more should not be overlooked. I'm looking forward to doing this series, exploring and researching the amazing fisheries around me. On deck, we have Chokoloskee, Goodland, Matlacha, the Caloosahatchee River. The opportunities are endless. But I started with Estero for a reason. There's nothing better than driving 20 minutes from my house and being able to disappear from the busy streets of Naples and catch the fish that I love. Me, as well as every other person who enjoys this estuary, is in debt to the people that have dedicated their lives to preserving it. It's up to us to make sure it stays that way. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed. God bless, take care, and I'll see you next time.